In a quaint town nestled between foreboding woods, the air carried whispers of ancient mysteries. Emily, a bright-eyed teenager, vanished without a trace during an evening stroll. Panic consumed her parents as they combed the eerie woods in search of their daughter. Days later, a chilling discovery awaited them. Amongst the shadows, they stumbled upon a forsaken, decrepit doll, its once cherubic features now twisted into an ominous grimace. An inexplicable dread clung to the air as they realized this doll was their daughter, Emily. The supernatural revelation left them trembling. The doll, once lifeless, now exuded an otherworldly aura. Tentatively, they touched its porcelain skin, and to their astonishment, warmth pulsed beneath. Emily's eyes, once glassy and vacant, now sparkled with life. Haunted by the mysterious transformation, Emily's parents grappled with the eerie reality of their living daughter trapped within a doll's form. The town buzzed with tales of the supernatural, a living enigma shrouded in the guise of a macabre doll. As days passed, the townsfolk oscillated between awe and terror, unable to comprehend the supernatural force that bound Emily to the doll. Her parents, torn between elation and despair, navigated the delicate balance of caring for their daughter in this peculiar form. Yet amidst the horror and mystery, a peculiar bond formed between Emily and her parents. The doll, once a symbol of dread, became a vessel for a love that transcended the boundaries of the living and the supernatural. In their quest for answers, they uncovered a world where the monstrous and the heartfelt could coexist, forever veiled in the embrace of the unknown. Despite the peculiar bond formed between Emily's doll form and her parents, the town's ominous atmosphere deepened. Whispers of a dark force entwined with Emily's supernatural existence circulated through hushed conversations. As the townsfolk wrestled with fear and fascination, an enigmatic figure emerged, claiming knowledge of the veiled mysteries. This mysterious stranger, cloaked in shadows, revealed himself as a guardian of the ancient woods. He spoke of an ancient curse, a malevolent force that sought refuge in the innocence of those who wandered too close to the heart of the forest. Emily, he explained, had become a vessel for this dark entity. Determined to free their daughter from the clutches of this malevolence, Emily's parents embarked on a harrowing journey into the heart of the ominous woods. Guided by the mysterious guardian, they confronted supernatural obstacles and faced the malevolent force that had entangled their daughter's fate. As they delved deeper, the woods revealed hidden secrets and twisted pathways, challenging the very fabric of reality. Time seemed to warp, and the boundary between the living and the supernatural blurred. The guardian with cryptic wisdom led them to an ancient altar hidden in the heart of the woods. There, amidst the whispering trees, they confronted the malevolent force, a monstrous entity craving the warmth of life to break its ancient curse. Emily's parents, driven by love and courage, faced the entity head-on, their connection with their daughter proving to be an unyielding force against the darkness. In a climactic struggle, the malevolent force, weakened by the strength of familial love, dissipated into the ether. The woods, once ominous and foreboding, now exuded an ethereal tranquility. The curse broken, Emily's doll form crumbled away, revealing her restored, living self. In the small town of Ashen Grove, where the whispering winds carried secrets of the past, the disappearance of young Emily Hastings remained an unsolved mystery. 15 years had passed since that fateful night when the shadows swallowed her whole, leaving her parents, Richard and Margaret, haunted by the lingering darkness that enveloped their lives. One gloomy evening, the phone rang, shattering the eerie silence that clung to the Hastings home. Trembling hands picked up the receiver, and a voice, aged by the passage of time, spoke words that sent shivers down Richard and Margaret's spines. "It's me, Emily. I'm alive." The words hung in the air like a spectral presence, freezing the blood in their veins. Emily, the daughter they believed lost to the abyss, spoke from the shadows of the past. Fear and disbelief gripped Richard and Margaret as they listened to the voice that defied the boundaries of life and death. In a hushed tone, Emily recounted the night she disappeared, the night her parents, driven by unseen forces, took her life in a desperate bid to escape a darkness that threatened to consume them all. She spoke of the secrets buried in the backyard, the echoes of a crime that had festered in the recesses of their memories. The revelation unraveled the fragile fabric of the Hastings reality. The shadows that had lurked in their minds manifested into a tangible horror, exposing the monstrous act they had committed in the name of survival. As Emily's older self described the dark events of that night, a police investigation long buried in the archives of forgotten cases resurfaced. Detective Harris, assigned to reopen the cold case, followed the trail of Emily's call. The investigation led him to the Hastings doorstep, where the weight of their actions hung like a specter in the air. The truth, once buried, clawed its way to the surface, demanding justice for the girl lost to the shadows. As the investigation unfolded, the haunted town of Ashen Grove confronted the malevolent secrets that lurked within its seemingly tranquil facade. The revelation of Emily's survival and the unspeakable crime committed in the name of darkness shattered the illusion of normalcy. The shadows, once confined to the depths of the Hastings' guilt-ridden minds, now spilled into the open, engulfing the town in a collective horror. The echoes of that dark night reverberated through the streets, challenging the very essence of truth and justice. As Detective Harris delved deeper into the twisted web of lies and horrors that had entrapped Ashen Grove, he uncovered a town steeped in malevolence. The Hastings, confronted with the weight of their past actions, faced the inexorable march of justice. The police investigation, no longer confined to the shadows, exposed the cracks in the seemingly idyllic community. Ashen Grove, once shielded by a facade of normalcy, now grappled with the revelation of a crime that had tainted its very foundations. The haunting echoes of Emily's disappearance and the subsequent call from her older self rippled through the town, leaving residents in a state of collective dread. The chilling truth unveiled by Detective Harris laid bare the monstrous nature of the Hastings' actions, setting the stage for a trial that would echo through the annals of Ashen Grove's history. In the courtroom, the atmosphere was thick with tension as the past and present collided. Emily, now an elusive figure straddling the realms of the living and the dead, stood as a spectral witness to the crimes committed in her name. The courtroom became a stage for the macabre, where the boundaries between the supernatural and the human were blurred. As the trial unfolded, the town witnessed a reckoning, a confrontation with the shadows that had clung to its collective conscience. The Hastings, once pillars of the community, now stood as symbols of a darkness that had lurked within the hearts of those deemed ordinary. The verdict, delivered with solemn gravity, echoed through the town square. Guilty. The Hastings, convicted of the crime that had tainted Ashen Grove, faced a sentence that mirrored the severity of their actions. In the aftermath, as the darkness of the past began to recede, Detective Harris pondered the enigma of Emily's call. The supernatural element lingered, a mystery intertwined with the cold reality of the crime. Ashen Grove, forever changed, grappled with the aftermath of a revelation that transcended the realms of the imaginable. Yet, as the last echoes of the trial faded, whispers of the supernatural still lingered, leaving the residents of Ashen Grove to wonder if some mysteries were destined to remain shrouded in the haunting shadows of the unknown. In the clandestine depths of a hidden laboratory, Dr. Victor Kessler, a brilliant but tormented scientist, sought to defy the laws of nature. Consumed by grief over the loss of his family in a tragic airplane crash, he delved into the forbidden realm of cloning, determined to resurrect the ones he had loved and lost. The hum of machines and the flickering of eerie lights accompanied Dr. Kessler's desperate pursuit. In the dimly lit chamber, he labored over vats of liquid, each containing the genetic blueprint of his deceased family. The air buzzed with anticipation as he initiated the cloning process, driven by a fervent desire to rewrite the tragic tale that had befallen them. Days turned into nights as the cloning chambers whirred with life. Dr. Kessler, blinded by grief and fueled by a desperation to reclaim what was lost, monitored the process with feverish intensity. The cloned forms of his wife and children took shape, their features gradually emerging from the shadows of genetic manipulation. However, as the replicas of his family gained substance, an ominous undercurrent began to pervade the laboratory. Unearthly whispers echoed in the air, and the flickering lights cast unsettling shadows. Dr. Kessler, oblivious to the impending consequences of his actions, reveled in the illusion of reunion. As the cloned family emerged from their incubation pods, an eerie silence enveloped the laboratory. The air grew thick with tension as the replicas, indistinguishable from the originals, regarded Dr. Kessler with eyes that held no trace of warmth. The supernatural force that lingered within their cloned forms bore witness to the unintended repercussions of playing God. The cloned family, devoid of the essence that made the originals human, became conduits for a malevolent energy that transcended the boundaries of science. Dr. Kessler, blinded by grief and fueled by a desire to rewrite fate, had unwittingly unleashed a force that defied the natural order. As the shadows deepened, the cloned family, driven by an otherworldly compulsion, turned on Dr. Kessler. The laboratory, once a place of desperate creation, became a battleground between the living and the manifestations of a supernatural experiment gone awry. In the chilling climax, Dr. Kessler confronted the consequences of his quest to play God. The cloned family, now mere vessels for an ominous force, closed in on him with unnatural grace. The echoes of their footsteps mingled with the ethereal whispers that filled the air, a haunting symphony of the supernatural. As the cloned family advanced, Dr. Kessler was enveloped in a vortex of supernatural dread. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as he grappled with the monstrous realization that his attempt to recreate his loved ones had birthed entities driven by a malevolent force beyond comprehension. Desperation etched across his face. Dr. Kessler sought to reason with the cloned family, pleading with the shadows that lurked within their eyes. Yet the cloned replicas, devoid of the genuine love and humanity that once defined his family, moved with an eerie synchronicity. The laboratory, now a battleground of scientific hubris and supernatural reckoning, echoed with the clash of forces. In the midst of the confrontation, the laboratory's equipment flickered and sputtered as if responding to the unearthly presence. Dr. Kessler, haunted by the realization of his unintended transgression against the natural order, frantically searched for a way to contain the malevolent force that pulsed within the cloned beings. As the supernatural maelstrom intensified, the cloned family's movements became increasingly erratic. Shadows danced across the walls, distorting their figures into grotesque shapes. Dr. Kessler, fueled by a desperation to atone for his reckless actions, activated emergency containment protocols, sealing the laboratory in a desperate bid to prevent the malevolent force from spreading. In the sealed confinement, an eerie silence descended. The cloned family, now frozen in unnatural poses, stood as haunting statues in the dimly lit laboratory. Dr. Kessler, burdened by the weight of his ambitions turned nightmares, surveyed the aftermath of his scientific hubris. As the hours passed, the laboratory remained a sepulchre of shadows, holding the remnants of a transgression against the laws of nature. Dr. Kessler, haunted by the memories of his family and the grotesque echoes of his attempt to resurrect them, contemplated the irreversible consequences of playing God. Dr. Kessler, forever marked by the shadows he had unleashed, faced the daunting task of navigating the boundary between the memories of his loved ones and the monstrous legacy of his attempt to rewrite their fate. The shadows, both literal and metaphorical, etched their presence into the scientist's recollections, casting a perpetual darkness over the laboratory that had dared to challenge the immutable laws of life and death.